कृपया क्षमतामपराधिजनं खलुषायुतशक्तसुदीननरं सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधव देवपदम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, fourth chapter. We are reading about the life of Ambarish Maharaj. We just started a couple of days ago. I had to go to Calcutta in between. So for 2 days we had no Bhagavat reading. So we will continue from where we left off. But before that, a small little summary of what we read so far. Ambarish Maharaj was such a devotee that he engaged all his sense organs in the service of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. At first he engaged his mind at the lotus feet of the Lord, and then all the sense organs, his eyes, hands, legs, nose, tongue, ears and skin, the forehead, all these things, they are engaged in the various service activities of the Supreme Lord. In this manner, not only did he perform the bhajan of the Supreme Lord, but he engaged all his kinsmen also, or his, the subjects in his kingdom also in devotional activities. And while he was personally engaged directly in serving the Supreme Lord, receiving the instructions from the Brahmanas, he engaged his representatives to take care of the official duties of the kingdom. But he himself was engaged directly in service of the Lord. Several rishis and munis, they were engaged by him to perform various yagyas, because it is one of the duties of the king that he should do sacrifices for the welfare of the kingdom, for the welfare of those who are living in it. It's one of the duties of a king. He was doing it, but he engaged the munis and rishis in that. He was directly involved only in bhajan, but because this duty is to perform, rishis and munis were given this duty to perform. And this yajna was performed in such a manner that not only the demigods but even the onlookers would witness this yajna without even blinking their eyes, as if they had no eyelids. They were seeing the beauty of this. They were all the brahmanas, they were dressed so nicely, beautiful ornaments, very nice offerings, very nicely decorated. So, not only the demigods but even the ordinary people, they used to witness this particular event without even without even blinking their eyes. And then further we heard that all those who were ruled by Ambarish Maharaj directly, even they had no desire to attain heavenly pleasures, wealth or pleasures, because they were constantly busy in either listening or speaking about the Supreme Lord. Therefore, not only Ambarish Maharaj but all his subjects also were engaged in devotional activities. Now we will continue from verse number 25. संवर्धयन्ति यत् कामाः स्वराज्य परिभाविताः दुर्लभा नापि सिद्धानां मुकुंदम हृदि पश्यतः. स्वरूप सुख अर्थात मुक्ति जनितो आनंद द्वारा परिवर्धित सूत्रांग सिद्ध पुरुष गणेरऊ दुर्लभ विषय सखल हृदय भगवत दर्शनकारी भक्तेर आनंद वर्धन करेना. Sukadeva Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj that those who are devotees of Supreme Lord, they do not derive any pleasure from riches or even from liberation. They are not very happy by getting liberation also. The devotees are happy only by serving the Supreme Lord. So why Sukadeva Goswami is telling this is because in the previous verse we read the purport by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur also, wherein he says it does not mean that those who are subjects or those who were ruled by Ambarish Maharaj, they were not seeking for heavenly planets. It doesn't mean they were seeking for pleasures superior to heaven. No mundane pleasures they were seeking after, because they are devotees. They derive pleasure only in singing and hearing the glories of Supreme Lord. Therefore, Mukti Janito Ananda Dwara Parivardhito, those who are completely satisfied from within, those who are deriving pleasure from the Atma or deriving pleasure from Atma serving the Paramatma, they will not have any mundane desires. It's very natural. Sukadeva Goswami is telling that one may be thinking that okay, Ambarish Maharaj is performing devotion. I understand why his subjects or those who are ruled by him, they also have no desire, because they were also engaged in devotion. Because we read in the conversation between Nimi and Navayogendra, there, I don't exactly remember which Muni, one of the 9 Munis, he tells to Nimi Maharaj that you see, a person who has got little wealth, he will want to attain little more. A person who has more, he wants to attain even more. A person who has lots of wealth, he thinks that I should have a greatest wealth in the all worlds. A person who has small piece of land, he thinks that I should have a vast land. A person who has a vast land, he thinks that I shall have even vast, even larger area. And he who has that, he thinks that I shall have a kingdom. And a person who has a kingdom, he thinks that I shall have all entire earth in my sovereignty. So in this manner, the Navayogendras say that there is no satisfaction. There is no satisfaction that yes, I am okay with this wealth or with this property. Wealth and property never leads to any satisfaction, but on the contrary, the Navyogendras say, but on the contrary, there is a constant tension, worry, and enviousness, animosity towards the other living entities, particularly towards those who have more than what we have got. Therefore, there the Navyogendras say that wealth and property, they can never give any peace or happiness to anybody. But in Maharaj Ambarish's kingdom, everyone were very happy. Why? Because they were not hankering for any mundane wealth or property. Neither Ambarish Maharaj was hankering for it. Therefore, it was a very, very pleasant, blissful, environment in the kingdom ruled by Ambarish Maharaj. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes in the commentary, Aro स्वर्गीय भोग अपेक्षा अधिक भोग स्वतः सिद्ध रूपे प्राप्त হইলেও যাহার নিজ জনগণ তাহাতে আসক্ত হন নাই ইহা বলিতেছেন সংবর্ধয়ন্তি ইত্যাদি. Even though the heavenly opulences and the pleasures are available, because when such a pious king is ruling, then there will be no scarcity to anybody in this world, because he is a devotee, he is equal to everyone. There is no partiality that someone I will become merciful on someone and I shall become harsh towards others. No, devotee is equal, he has equivision, and then he is equal to all, impartial. Therefore, nobody in his kingdom would be dissatisfied or without any riches. So, but still, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that nobody has attachment to wealth. Actually, our biggest enemy is our attachment. Wealth, property, these things are, they can never become superior to living entity, that they can trouble. But it is our attachment to these things that gives us more trouble. For example, a dog, I gave this example before, a dog on the streets, if something happens to that dog, we damn care about it. We don't really, well, it's okay, it's a street dog. You don't worry about it at all. But the same dog, if you have purchased from someone and you keep it in your house, you are serving that dog, and then something happens to your dog, even if it is in the middle of the night, you would want to take your dog to the doctor and immediately show him and get the dog cured. Why? It's after all dog. But what is the difference between your previous perception and the present perception? The difference is that because you have served this dog for a while, you have developed attachment towards it. The moment there is attachment, there is fear or apprehension of separation. And therefore, you are worried about it constantly. So, our greatest enemy is attachment, not an object per se. No object is a cause of our problem, but our attachment to that object is a cause of our problem. It's the mind. That's why it is said, mind is the cause of liberation, mind is the cause of bondage. If the asakti, if our attachment is towards the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, our attachment is to hear about His glories, then that mind will become the cause of liberation. If our attachment, because attachment happens in the mind, if our attachment is to the material things, material objects or material persons or material world, then it will be a cause of our bondage. So it is the mind, or you can say attachment is the cause of our problem in this material world. But here, those who are ruled by Ambarish Maharaj, even though they had pleasures or opulences, they had no attachment to them. Yan, our A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he says very proudly that I started my business with 40 rupees and now I am the owner of maybe 400 or 400 million dollars. When he had established the temples everywhere, after that, when the press reporters, they came and they interviewed him and they wanted to ask him so many questions. What is your advice for all those persons? He calls himself, what can be best business than this? I started with 40 rupees and now today I am an owner of $400 million. So the best business is Krishna consciousness. Business means not exchange. I give you something, you give me something. No, not this business, but engagement. Here the word business means engagement. The best engagement is Krishna consciousness. If Krishna is satisfied, automatically Krishna will provide him whatever is required, and Krishna will protect whatever he already has got. Therefore, we don't have to worry about protecting it or gaining more. Lord knows what we want and he will supply it. Therefore, here the devotees, they are always peaceful because Supreme Lord is their caretaker. यान ये मनुष्य दिक्के कामा भोगराशि आनंदेर द्वारा वर्धित करिते पारेन नाई, अर्थात आनंददान करिते पारेन नाई, एखाने ऋधु धातु वृद्धि अर्थे. मीन्स Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says material appliances never give them any pleasure, which ordinary people seek pleasure after such mundane opulence that did not give them any pleasure. किरूप भोग समूह ताहते बोलते चैन स्वराज्य परिभाविताः. स्वराज्य बोलते इंद्र पदतुल्य सुख ताहार द्वारा सर्वतो भावे वासितो अर्थात अतिशायितो, अथवा स्वराज्य बोलिते स्वरूप सुख अर्थात मुक्ति जनित आनंद ताहार द्वारा युक्त, अतएव सिद्धि गणिरु दुर्लभजे भोगराशि. Even those who have perfected in executing their mundane duties, whatever opulences they will get, all these members in the kingdom of Ambarish Maharaj, they had got this, but that did not give them any satisfaction. Why? Because they were satisfied from within, from their Atma. That is, they are serving the Supreme Lord. Yen Atma suprasidate. That Atma which is serving Supreme Lord is suprasidate, is always in great bliss. It can never be, in mental anxiety or agony. एखाने हेतुगर्भ विशेषणे मनुष्यगण के विशेषित करिते चेन मुकुंदम हृदि पश्यतः. अम्बरीश महाराजेर साहचर्य वशतई सर्वदा हृदय मध्ये भगवान श्री हरि के दर्शनकारी जनगण के विषय समूह आनंददान करते पारे नाई. मुकुंदम हृदि पश्यतः, because they are seeing Mukunda in their own heart. All these persons who are living in Ambarish Maharaj's kingdom, they were able to see Mukunda, Lord Mukunda, in their heart. Why? Because they got a beautiful company like Ambarish Maharaj. In the company of a devotee, one's heart's real duty will be revealed. The actual duty of all the living entities, or actual nature of all the living entities, will be revealed in the company of the pure devotees. And because these persons have got an opportunity to associate with Ambarish Maharaj, they could realize their actual wealth, that is Mukund in their heart. Therefore, material wealth did not give them any, even a piece of ananda to them. Jat erupa pathe jehetu tahara hridaye mukundir pratyakha koriten, means they were able to see Mukunda directly in their heart. परिभावितान एरूप पाठे उहा मनुष्य गणेर विशेषण अर्थात स्वरूपभूत आनंदे विभोर जनगण के ये अर्थ. एंड परिभावितान is word is used. This means that they were actually happy engaging in their natural activity, that is serving the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they were not deriving any pleasure from other things. स इत्थं भक्ति योगेन तपो युक्तेन पार्थिवः स्वधर्मेण हरिं प्रणीन सर्वान् कामान् शनैर्जहो. पृथ्वीराज अम्बरीश यही प्रकारे भक्ति योग एवं भोग त्याग रूप तपस्या युक्त स्वधर्मेर द्वारा भगवान श्री हरि के संतुष्ट करिया क्रमशः सर्व प्रकार कामना परित्याग करिया छिलेन. In this manner, Ambarish Maharaj engaged himself completely in bhakti yoga, in devotional activities, and by giving up bhoga tyaga, by giving up even bhoga and tyaga. Bhoga means to enjoy, tyaga means to renounce. He has given up his tendency to renounce as well as to enjoy, and he was engaged in devotion. So Sridhar Maharaj says there are three different planes. One is a plane of exploitation, other is a plane of renunciation, and third is a plane of dedication. Exploitation, renunciation and dedication. Already karmi or ordinary karmis, those who are materialistic persons, they are on the plane of exploitation. They want to exploit the nature, exploit others, exploit the property to become rich or happy. They are called karmis. And the next platform people, they are called it's a stage of renunciation. They know that in the plane of exploitation there is a lot of trouble and problem, and one will have to take repeated birth and death. They have to take repeated birth and death, accepting various wombs they have to pass through, a lot of suffering. Therefore, they don't belong to the plane of exploitation. They transcend it, they go to the platform of renunciation. They say that renounce everything. But third is a plane of dedication. They are neither exploiters nor renouncers. They are the one who dedicate everything in the service of the Lord. They know that this material world is not a place of my exploitation or my enjoyment. Neither is this my object that I can renounce. This does not belong to me in the first place. How can I renounce? I will renounce that object which is mine, that which belongs to me. But object is not mine, it belongs to Supreme Lord. How can I say I have renounced this world? You cannot renounce, this is not yours in the first place. Therefore, the devotees, they dedicate. It's called the plane of land of dedication. Means they neither renounce the material objects nor enjoy them. They dovetail them in the service of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And Sridhar Maharaj says this is the platform of devotees, this is the topmost plane that one should aspire to attain. So here he has given up all his desires to enjoy or renounce, like tapasya, sadhana, swadharma, etc., by performing various penances, undergoing various penances, or even doing swadharma. Swadharma means one's own kingly duty. He is a king, therefore performing kingly duties or kshatriya duties. By all these things, what will happen? He will get higher and higher planetary worlds, but he has given up all these things. Bhagavan Hari ke santushta koriya. He has performed or he engaged himself in only one kind of activity, that is to please the Supreme Lord. And thus, Sarva Prakar Kamana Pritya Kuriyachile. And thus he had become completely free from any kinds of desires in this material world, all kinds of desires. He got freed himself by serving or by engaging in the service of Supreme Lord. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, Tapo yuktena मंदिर मार्जन जल कलश वहन एवं वैष्णव गणेर शुश्रूषादि द्वारा शारीरिक कष्ट ओ भोगत्याग ताहाई तपस्या. He was also engaged in one kind of tapasya, penance. What kind of penance? Mandira marjan, cleaning the temple. This is a penance to the body. Some kind of some trouble you are accepting. Swami Maharaj used to describe, tapasya, penance. He has defined what is tapasya. He says, voluntary acceptance of a trouble for a higher cause. That is the meaning of tapasya. It's a voluntary acceptance. Nobody is asking you to do it, but you are voluntarily accepting it for the cause of service or for a higher cause. That trouble is there. So that is tapasya. He gives example. Of course, our Vaishnava Acharyas give an example that even in the hot summers, cooking is going on for the deities. Even in cold winters, devotees are taking bath to perform Mangala Arati early in the morning. So, this is a kind of a tapasya. What need is there? You can just order on Swiggy, isn't it? You know Swiggy? In India there is Swiggy, Zomato. Online booking. You can book and then they come to your house, you can eat. Or, don't have to take bath. Why you have to take bath every day in the morning? You give the duty to someone else. I'll pay you every month so much. You come and do Mangala Arati. But devotees are not doing it. They are voluntarily accepting some kind of a trouble in order to, get a higher cause, for a higher cause. So here, cleaning the temple, bringing, water in a pot to do abhisheka, to bathe the Supreme Lord, to clean the temple, etc., to bring water. Ambarish Maharaj could have engaged anyone easily, bring water for me, or clean the temple, I have to do puja. No, he is personally engaging himself in all these activities. Evang Vaishnava Ganer Shushrusha, serving the Vaishnavas, physically, mentally, by all these means. In this manner, he had accepted Sharirika Kashta, had accepted the bodily troubles and Bhogatyaga and all the personal enjoyment. He could sleep very nicely, he could take rest, but all kinds of these things he has given up. That is what is called as tapasya. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that is tapasya. Tad yukta dharmer dvara iha bhakti yoger visheshan, means because this tapasya is in direct connection with devotion, serving the Vaishnavas, cleaning the temple, bringing water for the Supreme Lord. It's not ordinary tapasya, it is devotion. These things are not called as tapasyas. They are tapasya, voluntary acceptance of some problem or trouble for a higher cause, but they are in connection with devotion. Therefore, Bhakti Yogera Visheshan, these are exclusive characteristics of devotion. The devotee personally wants to perform all these things. This is exclusive characteristic of devotion. এখানে চাকার অর্থাৎ তপস্যা ও স্বধর্ম আচরণ করিয়াছিলেন এরূপ উল্লেখ না থাকায় বিশেষত অম্বরীশ মহারাজ শুদ্ধ ভক্ত বলিয়া এবং পরবর্তী শ্লোকে ইহা উক্ত হওয়ায় এখানে ভক্তি যোগের দ্বারাই শ্রীহরির প্রীতি উৎপাদন করত ধীরে ধীরে সর্বপ্রকার কামনা পরিত্যাগ করিয়াছিলেন ইহা বুঝিতে হইবে. So there is no mention that he was engaged in tapasyas or swadharma or any fruitive activities, but it is said that he has given up. He has given up means he has given up all worldly duties, but his duty was only to serve the Supreme Lord. He has accepted this duty which is the tapasya that he has accepted. So, in this manner, Ambarish Maharaj was engaged in pure devotion. गृहेषु दारेषु सुतेषु बंधुषु द्विपोत्तमस्यन्दन वाजी वस्तुषु अक्षय्यरत्मा अक्षय्यरत्नाभरण आभरणाम्बरादिषु अनंत कोशेष्व करोदसम्मतिम. तिनी गृह दार अपत्य सुहृद हस्ती श्रेष्ठरथ घोटक अक्षज रत्न अलंकार वस्त्र एवं असीम धन भंडार समूहे असद धारणा करियाछिलेन. So naturally, a king means a king has a lot of treasure. There is a treasure house, and there is a lot of treasure that's available in the king's place, at the king's place. But his house or his palace, his wife, children, friends, and relatives, elephants. These elephants are the treasure of a king. Elephants and beautiful chariots, the carts, the bullock carts, etc., and innumerable or invaluable gems and other decorative ornaments, cloths, and other wealth. All these things were present in the kingdom of Ambarish Maharaj, but he considered all these as eternal. All of these things he considered, non-eternal. All these things he considered as non-eternal. These are of no use. Even though he has got beautiful palace and all these things, ordinary people, they take pleasure in all these things. But he has got such a great treasure house, but still he has considered all of them to be non-eternal. This is the wealth of a king. How many horses you have, how many elephants you have, what is your strength of the army, and how many weapons you have, how much treasure is there. Means if there is any loss during war or battle, the king should be able to meet the expenses of his people. So all these things are basically the property of a king. It's very, very essential to have these in the stock. But even though he is a king, he considered all these non-eternal. Because Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke, if the Lord wants to kill, who can protect? And if the Lord wants to protect, who can kill such a person? Therefore, he was completely relying, or he was completely dependent upon the mercy of the Supreme Lord, because he was a devotee. Tasma adadhari dharischakram pratyaniika bhayavaham ekanta bhakti bhavena prito bhaktabhirakshanam. भगवान श्रीहरि अम्बरीशेर ऐकांतिकी भक्ति ते संतुष्ट होइया ताहा के भक्तजन संरक्षक ओ प्रतिकूल जनेर भयावह चक्र प्रदान करियाछिलेन. So, Supreme Lord Sri Hari was completely satisfied with the one-pointed devotion of Ambarish Maharaj. One-pointed devotion means he was not busy with any other activities other than to please Supreme Lord, to enhance his kingdom or enhance his treasure house, or to please someone else, to perform yajna, tapasya. He was not engaged in any of these activities. One-pointed devotion. Being pleased with the one-pointed devotion of Ambarish Maharaj, Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, he had given him his Chakra, Sudarshana Chakra, which is Bhaktajana Sanrakhaka, protector of the devotees. Sudarshana Chakra is the protector of the devotees, and Pratikula Janera Bhayavaha. And those who are Pratikula, those who are inimical to the devotees, they see, when they see the Sudarshan Chakra, they become very fearful. Means it is Sudarshan Chakra, he is giving, Sudarshan is not it, he. Because Sudarshan also has form. So Sudarshan Chakra is the one who is fearful to the non-devotees, and he is the one protecting the devotees. That Sudarshan Chakra was given to Ambarish Maharaj by the Supreme Lord. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, যদি বলেন দেখুন এইরূপ হইলে কি প্রকারে তিনি প্রতিপক্ষকে জয় করতেন. So far whatever we read, it's only talked about how Ambarish Maharaj engaged himself in devotion. Even though he has got so much wealth, armed force, etc., he did not care for any of these things. He was not attached to anything, considering them all to be non-eternal. Then my question is, how did he protect his kinsmen? How did he protect his subjects from the attack of the enemies? Because definitely people will come. If a king is not active, definitely the people from other places, they come to attack. So how did he protect, or how did he become victorious over others? তাহাতে বলিতেছেন তস্मै তাহাকে সুদর্শন চক্র প্রদান করিয়াছিলেন, because he was given Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra was there protecting Ambarish Maharaj always. Nobody dared to attack Ambarish Maharaj. Nobody wanted to declare war against him, because they all knew that Sudarshana is there protecting Ambarish Maharaj. So actually we think that, I need to do this, I need to do this, so if I don't take care of this, how this will happen, if I don't take care of this, how this will happen, I need to take care of all these things and then I can perform bhajan. But the thing is, if you perform bhajan, the Lord will automatically make everything taken care of. Ambarish Maharaj was not thinking, I am a king, my duty is to do all these things first. Once everything is settled, then I will do. No. He engaged in one-pointed devotion, and now it became the responsibility of the Supreme Lord to protect him. Just like a child. A child is completely dependent upon the mercy of mother and father. Now, how the child is rescued from various dangers? Because mother and father are protecting him always. He is not doing any endeavor for his own self to protect, isn't it? Is a child endeavoring to protect himself? No. On the contrary, he is, doing all kinds of mischievous things. Mother and father, they have to shout, hey, don't walk there, you will fall down. Don't do this, don't. He's doing all kinds of things. I give this, common example, that a small, boy, he's walking on the streets, is very, very fearful by seeing a dog. Obviously, even we fear. What to speak of a boy? Even we fear. So he is fearing a dog, but when he is walking along with his mother or father and holding his finger or hand, at that time the child becomes so daring and dashing that he wants to kick the dog. Otherwise he would not even want to go near the dog. He would lift his leg to kick the dog. Why? Because my father is there to protect me, my mother is there to protect me. So that abhaya, this fearlessness comes automatically, because they know that Supreme Lord is taking care of everything. So what I wanted to say is that simply by engaging in devotion, all the other things are taken care of. We don't need to take care of so many things and then once they are settled, I will perform bhajan. No, it's not true. তাহাতে বলিতেছেন তস্मै তাহাকে সুদর্শন চক্র প্রদান করিয়াছিলেন, because the Lord had given him Sudarshan Chakra. প্রীতঃ তাহার ঐকান্তিকী ভক্তিতে বিক্ষেপের অভাবের নিমিত্ত পরিতুষ্ট হইয়া শ্রীহরি ভক্তগণের রক্ষক ও শত্রুগণের ভয়জনক স্বীয় সুদর্শন চক্রকে নিযুক্ত করিয়াছিলেন, এই অর্থ. Pritaha means being satisfied with Ambarish Maharaj's one-pointed devotion, and by seeing that his devotion is irrevocable, he is not going to stop his devotion. He is going to continue. Means the Lord has seen that Ambarish Maharaj had got a very special affinity towards devotion. Being satisfied by it, the Lord has engaged his own Sudarshan Chakra, which is the protector of, or who is the protector of the devotees, and who is a giver of fear to the non-devotees. That Sudarshan Chakra was engaged in the service of Ambarish Maharaj by the Supreme Lord. So we will stop here and then continue tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Panchatattvatmak Shri Gaura Hari ki Jai. परमाराधितम पतित पावन स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोस्वामी श्री गुरु महाराज की जय. नित्य लीला प्रविष्टोम विष्णुपाद प्रणोद स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति दयित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय. श्री श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय. श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेदव्यास महामुनि की जय. श्री श्री अम्बरीश महाराज की जय. जय श्रीमद् भागवत श्रवणकारी भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे.